Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome to Civilization 7, and, I'm really rather excited about that, because, I love Civ 6, one of my favourite games of all time, and with Civ 7's launch just a few weeks away, I've got my hands on it just a little bit early. I've already put a few hours into this, I think I've got my head around the basics, and, I quite like what I'm seeing here. This is quite good, actually, so, let's just dive in, because bloody hell is there a lot to cover. So okay, just in case you've not been following the development of Civ 7, let's get everyone on the same page, because there have been some big changes with how, yes, leaders and civilizations work, though honestly the change is not quite as big as some people have been making out, because you've got to remember, in Civ 6, by the end of that game, if you wanted to play as England, say, you had a choice of like 4 different leaders. You could play as one of 2 Victorias, or Elizabeth, or Eleanor. You take any of those leaders and mix their benefits with the benefits of England. And speaking of Eleanor, she also had a choice of empires she could play with, so you could take her abilities and mix them with either England or France. And England's 4 leaders wasn't even the biggest number in Civ 6. That was China, who by the end of all the DLC had 5 cocking leaders you could play as. So, yeah. I feel like in many ways, we should have seen Civ 7 coming, which is, basically, they've taken that idea that they were testing in Civ 6 and brought it to its logical conclusion, which is, that now applies to everyone and everything. Every leader can now lead every civilization. You can mix and match as much as you want to. And it gets wackier yet too, because, yes, while you're going to be keeping the same leader for the whole game, your civilization is going to evolve. So, you know, you'll have one civilization in the first era, and then you'll go into era 2 and change over to someone else. So, okay, let me give you a nice simple example here. So, say hello to Ashoka, who's making a return to civilization after previously being in Civ 4. Apologies, by the way, for the hedgehog over on the left, but, yes, let's just say there's certain things in the leader table I'm not allowed to show you, or for access are going to break my legs. So, okay, just ignore the hedgehog, it's fine. Focus on Ashoka over on the right there. So I can select him, and then pair him with any empire of my choosing. However, to make life a bit easier, in general, if you pick a leader and match them with, you know, historically where they ought to be, there's often a really good synergy there. So in the case of Ashoka, he generates bonus food in the event his cities are really happy. So if you match Ashoka with, you know, his historically correct partner, the Maurya Empire, well that's full of all sorts of bits and pieces that give you bonus happiness, that suits him really nicely. And of course that's all very lovely and sensible, but, you know, what I'm curious about is, which blend of leader and civilization might be absolutely stupidly broken, and here's my suggestion. Let's start off with Egypt, because Egypt is all about money. Their unique buildings generate tons of money. Their unique district generates tons of money too. And in general, they like being by gigantic rivers. Makes sense, very Egyptian. So, you know, we could match them with an appropriate historical partner. Here we go, even more production along big rivers. That'd be great, wouldn't it? But notice, that wouldn't help me that much with this whole money situation we're talking about. But you know who flipping would? Xerxes, the Persian king, perhaps most famous for, yes, being responsible for the second Persian invasion of Greece, the one that's maybe most remembered in modern times because that's the one with the Battle of Thermopylae. But yes, this here is one of the 2 variants of Xerxes, all about trade and money, making tons of cash and culture every time he does any trading, and even better, generating bonus culture and gold on any unique buildings and improvements. And Egypt here has got a big old pile of unique buildings and improvements. Not every empire has the same number, but Egypt's got loads of them, so, oh Xerxes, I think me and you are going to make a lot of cocky gold, and let's just say that's even more important than it used to be. So okay, the year is 4000 BC, and this I think will do nicely because, yes, I can see it just down south here, one big old river, so yeah, I'm willing to spend a turn just moseying in that direction, and we'll set up right flipping here. Lovely, and I know what you're thinking. Okay, if you come here, straight from Civ 6, you're probably looking at this and thinking, John, what have you done? Why would you settle here? Where's your food? Where's your production? You're going to die horribly, and funny old thing, next to Civ 6, you do not need to, like, you know, get really good natural tiles as a starting point anymore. The base shields of tiles have really been a bit normalized, because honestly in Civ 6, especially on high difficulties, you needed multiple 2 food 2 production tiles, otherwise the start was basically unworkable. That's not really how things work in Civilization 7. Instead, you kinda make your own yields in a way, so okay, just stick with me for a second, you'll see what I mean. Also, super cute quality of life thing, which is basically, yes, at the start of the game, when you're building your first scout or your first warrior, Med J for me, because I'm Egypt, so yeah, I just get, you know, a special warrior who happens to be a bit stronger inside friendly territory. Yeah, your first unit is basically functionally free. He'll pop out in one turn. I appreciate that, that's nice. So, following turn, my scouts are done. On top of that, we've unlocked the tech tray. But more importantly, right, let's talk about how cities work these days, because once again, things are a bit different and it can take a moment to get your head around. So, my population has grown from 1 to 2. And these days, what that means is, I'm literally going to grow my city with that population that just popped out. Because in this game, there's no builders anymore. Instead, when your pop grows, you choose a tile that's inside your boundaries, and you assign that pop to that tile. And that tile is then just worked and will be forever. That pop cannot be reassigned or anything. So, given we've got, you know, this nice and navigable river right here that would give me 1 food, 1 production, 1 gold, and 1 happiness, that strikes me as a good option, we'll take you right now, my friend. So there we go, my city's now gathering a whole bunch of new stuff, lovely. And on top of that, the border expands, which increases the range I can claim tiles in future. But yes, like I was saying a second ago, in terms of making your own yields rather than relying on base yields. So, in this game, yeah, you often spend your time producing buildings that buff other tiles. So, this granary, if I build this, any farm in this city gets better and better. Which is fine, aside from the fact that, yes, as we were saying, I'm really more about this lovely big river that's right next to me. So, what I want to do instead is buff my fishing boats. So if I focus on, yes, sailing over here, well, straight away for completing that tech, fishing boats are going to produce bonus food, and I could also build a fishing key that would make even more food come out of my fishing boat. So, okay, given I'm, you know, on a big old river, big enough to sail up and down, because, you know, big and navigable rivers, that's a thing these days, I feel like, yeah, sailing has got to be a good choice for us. That's not to say it won't build a granary though, because yeah, it also boosts the food yields on plantations, and we're going to be having some of them dotted around, so yeah, I will be building this anyway, and here's where things get, yes, rather interesting, which is, this is a building, meaning it's got to go somewhere where there's a building slot. So right now, in my palace, there is space for me to put a second building down on this slot. The palace and the granary could share that hex. However, I could just put it somewhere else instead, taking these empty tiles and converting them into an urban tile, basically a place where I could put buildings. But if I do that, I'm going to lose the base yield of that tile. So, honestly, this tile over here, there's just, you know, a bit of brush generating 1 gold that we're not even collecting right now, because yes, we're only collecting the worked tiles. I think that could probably go. So, slap down a granary there, and immediately, yes, this tile becomes an urban tile, grows a bunch of houses immediately, and I quite like this, by the way, because it just means, you know, your cities do properly sprawl out over time, which is always my favourite thing about Civ 6, watching the cities sprawl thanks to the districts. Well, now the urban sprawl just goes everywhere, because eventually you're going to want to replace basic farms with advanced urban infrastructure, so, oh yeah. This is just the start, though. Anyway, send my scout northwards, because yeah, there's another river up here. Not a big, lovely, sexy river that's going to be giving me tons of bonus production or anything, but still, it's a source of water that's probably useful for, like, civilization or whatever. Ah, you see, we were right to go in this direction. There's actually a lovely, big river right here, so let's just say, yeah, I'm planning for this river to become quite a powerhouse if I set it up right. And speaking of which, back at the capital, right, we can now grow the city again thanks to population 3, and now what I'm going to do is claim our first resource, and okay, I really like this rework, because back in Civ 6, you know, luxuries were basically just a way of providing amenities to your city. functionally, they were pretty interchangeable aside from the base yields produced by their tiles. Now, resources are special unique things that provide special bonuses, very similar to how they worked in the corporations mode in Civ 6. Once again, we should have seen a lot of Civ 7 coming. They were blatantly testing it in the various weird experiments they ran in the Civ 6 DLC. So, yeah, if I claim this tile, I will now be working this here silk plantation, which will immediately get me production, culture, happiness, but more importantly, silk. So, beautiful silk plantation is down, and, as I was just saying, we have now got a resource in my capital, and it provides a unique benefit on this occasion, bonus 10% to culture. And perfect timing, the first Civics done, so we've got access to the Civics tree, as well as the social policies. Social policies are basically like, the policy cards from Civ 6. You can plug in a certain number at once, there's various ways to make the number you can have simultaneously go up over time. For the time being though, yes, we're choosing between production and science, or bonus culture, and I'm gonna start with bonus culture. Because I've already got a bonus culture coming out of my silk, and let's just say, yes, there's a very good reason for that. As I was saying, we've now got access to the Civics tree, though it's not just one tree anymore. Everyone's got access to, the basic civics of the age we're in, but only I have access to the Egyptian civics, and that's not just, a bonus Egypt gets. You get, unique bonuses, bloody loads of them, in fact, depending on which empire you're playing as. But for the time being, we'll get back to that in a second. I want to jump into mysticism because faith isn't a currency anymore, meaning the way you get your pantheon in this game is by researching this civic. And I think I might be able to, beat a few other people in the pantheon race, which is important because, just like in Civ 6, it's first come, first served, and I want to get a good one. Meanwhile, in the wider world, right, the river up here is very, very long indeed. We'll definitely be wanting to go and explore that. Lots of resources, lots of good bits and pieces. And on top of that, my scout has stumbled across, okay, a nice little camp here. This is like the equivalent of the villagers in Civ 6. You go here and you get a nice little encounter. We can either take 20 food and 10 production, or 45 influence, which is, yes, a currency used for various diplomacy bits and pieces. I'm going to say at the start of the game, yeah, bit of bonus production just to speed up my fishing key. That's the right option. Then we've also got, speaking of, diplomacy, Aratem. Hello there, guys. Lovely to meet you. So, this here is basically the equivalent of a barbarian. They're more chill than they used to be very often. Because, yes, this guy, if you annoy him, might become a barbarian camp and try and murder you. Or alternatively, if you're super nice to him, might over time become a city-state with you as their suzerain. So, okay. We might go and make friends with you at some point. And as the mysticism race continues, right. My city has grown again, and I've also got marble here. Bonus 10% production towards wonders placed on grassland, tundra, and marine terrain. Lovely. So we'll be having that because, if nothing else, that gets me another point of culture. It also opens up, more of the river that we can claim going forward. You've got to work your way out. Oh, life is looking good in Wasset because all of a sudden, right. My fishing key is done. There's a lovely city built kind of both sides of the river. So that's more food for my fishing boat. And on top of that, there's just been a small flood. Because that's kind of, what Egyptian rivers are supposed to do. So I think luckily, yes, the damaged tiles were ones that we weren't working anyway. But meanwhile, oh yeah, the yield's just gone up. And meanwhile, yes, I've also got some basic troops just in case the next barbarians we run into are less, chill and whatnot. Though speaking of Aratem, right, given I've just banked a whole bunch of influence and right now I've got nothing to do with it, I'm going to spend that making friends with these guys. Magnificent hair, by the way, I love it. So, okay. Basically, yes, this is going to start a timer that's going to convert these guys into a city-state who will be my subjects automatically. And because we got lucky they were friendly even before we started this, it's only going to take 15 turns to do. If I want to, I can speed up the process by tossing more influence at it in future. For the time being, though, just look at this lovely, sexy river right here. I'm just going to basically, have my city grow along this river, eating all of these one by one, because that is going to keep my population growing in a bloody hurry. And hello, sexy. There's a natural wonder down south, too. Right, so it's a big old waterfall, produces food and happiness, and on top of that, okay, nearby quarters, like filled up districts, they get bonus production, so okay, that we probably want to expand into at some point. And here we flipping go. Mysticism has been completed. And it looks like, yes, we might be the, nope, third person to reach this stage. Some people just get, you know, culture built into their leader or civ. So, fair enough, we weren't quite first, but we were pretty close. But I'm gonna say, given, you know, all these river tiles we're gonna be working and whatnot, how about we go for God of the Sea? Because, you know, fishing boats aren't just for the sea anymore. Now you can have them on these big old rivers. But these days, yeah, if you want to have that benefit, you've got to build an altar first. So, we will get to that, because first, it's time to expand. And in terms of civics, I want to get to Code of Law, so yeah, we can start talking about, you know, trade, merchants, money, that whole gold game I was talking about. So, if I want that, we need to go through discipline to get it. So we'll start there and get to the Egyptian stuff later. And apparently we've met another civilization, and oh no, it's cooking Augustus. Oh no, Augustus is a dick, he likes declaring wars. I'd also just like to say, a lot of people, when they first saw Augustus in this game, said, he looks terrible, he needs to be redone, I hate him. Oh no, no. You take one look at Augustus in this game, and you think, I hate that twerp, I want to punch him in the face, and I don't trust him. And that is completely historically accurate, 100% spot on. But we're going to play nice anyway, okay, in the hope he doesn't attack me. Plus, I'm not even 100% sure where the lad is, so right, we need to track him down. Still, my settler's done, meaning yes, now I need to figure out where I want him to go, and let's just say, there are a lot of bloody good options. So yeah, we could go south in this direction, get myself the natural wonder, there's some gold here too, not bad at all. But I feel like surely we want to start, you know, locking down this gigantic river. Given so many of my special unique buildings that are going to be coming in, they get bonuses for being next to big old rivers. Anyway, let's get you down, my friend. So, my first new settlement is about to exist, but, okay, let's talk about, you know, another thing that's changed here, which is, cities aren't the only type of settlement anymore. When you slap down a new settlement, it's going to be a town instead. Towns are basically mini-settlements that work in a similar way to cities, but not quite. Which is to say, you can't build anything in them using their own production. Instead, if you want to build anything here, you've got to buy it directly with gold. This means that yes, if I could get Xerxes in Egypt set up correctly, and you know, just get my gold printing machines online, when we toss down a town, we can start getting them set up, like, functionally, immediately. Though they do grow and expand the same as any city, so you can use them to lock down resources just the same. The trick being, of course, yes, the resources the town's picking up can be sent straight to a bigger city. And camels increase the number of available slots, so, okay. This is, yes, potentially where things start getting a bit interesting, because once you start stacking ludicrous amounts of resources on top of each other, and there is nothing to stop you stacking multiple of the same to just, you know, double up the bonuses over and over again, oh yeah, things could get silly in a hurry. Oh, here's good news, by the way, Augustus immediately denounced me. So I can accept that, or what I was about to say, I could try and reject it. Like, you know, spend influence to make him go away. No, I can't, as it turns out, because I don't have enough, so, okay. Augustus is feeling fighty. Sure is bloody lucky that, yes, I've got these special warriors that fight well defensively, isn't it? So, okay, seriously, where is the bastard? We need to find him so we know which frontier we need to defend. Okay, so, good news and bad news. The good news is, yes, our team has decided they do want to work for us. The bad news is, yes, in doing so, they've kind of revealed where the Romans are. So, okay. Romans are coming. Gotcha. Really hoping, by the way, that, you know, when the war kicks off, these guys properly get involved and whatnot. That would be good. And Other fun thing, these days you get a bit more choice as to what the suzerain bonuses you're getting actually are. So you might get, a unique improvement you could build, or alternatively, just various ways of earning more science, more technology, etc, etc. I'm going to say though, a step pyramid that provides, +2 science and +1 happiness for every adjacent river tile must be placed on tiles with natural happiness. Well, I've got tiles with natural happiness right next to rivers right here that I am working. Okay, now that could be interesting. For the time being, though, probably best we, actually build some troops. Because I feel like, thanks to Aratem, we now know the Romans are cocky coming. Okay, bare minimum, we know that, yes, my troops fight better inside of my own territory. Begin fortifying so that, yes, when the time comes, we'll have more and more defences set up. Oh, and when it rains, it cocky pours, because someone else just showed up too. Hello there, Packer Cutie. Okay, by any chance, would you like to be, more chill? Oh, hang on. He's at war with Augustus. Okay, you're my new best friend. And I think we could just see the edge of, yes, Roman territory right about there. Though, hang about, we've also got... Okay. Can't help but notice that, yes, Rome is very happy, but has only got 1 city. But Packer Cutie has got 3, so, right, if we're lucky, yes, what's happened is Augustus has tried to advance at me, Packer Cutie has just stabbed him in the back. And honestly, that is great news. Okay, we've now got 3 Medjay guarding my borders, which I think is plenty enough, given apparently things are not going entirely Augustus's way. So, okay. I feel like at this point, we can focus on libraries, and here's what I find really interesting, by the way. So, there's a lot more adjacency thinking to be done in Civ 7. In Civ 6, mostly, it was about placing your districts in a sensible position. A good science district is a function of mountains, jungles, reefs. Now, those are there on turn 1, and they're still going to be there at turn 200. In Civ 7, that's not really the case. Instead, because science buildings like libraries don't go in a dedicated district, they go in any urban slot, they can basically go anywhere. So you've got to, carefully think about where they might end up. So yeah, the library produces 2 science by default. So if I just put it here, 2 science. If I move it here, because it's adjacent to a resource, that goes up to 3. However, if I put it right here inside this, yes, existing urban area, that gets a 4 science instead, and 1 culture as well. Why is it getting the culture? I actually genuinely don't know. I'm still learning this game too. Maybe something to do with the palace next door. I genuinely am not sure. But okay, don't look a gift culture in the mouth. Okay, I've decided it's time to, yes, go and have a tiny poke at my good friend Augustus, because... funny old thing about, yes, the way armies work these days, which is, okay, they're not just, individual units anymore. They have to work instead as a bit of a group. So, I've got a commander here, like the equivalent of a great general, and what he could do is gather all the units around him so they all travel together, and very often they can travel faster all together than any individual unit could by themselves. So I'm just going to march my army out in this direction, and we're going to set up shop nearby to Aratem, because we want to make sure that my friends and allies over there don't get slaughtered by the Romans. And you know what? I'm gonna say things are now looking, calm enough back home with the crisis, for now at least, averted, that we can start thinking about wonders. So, here's the fun thing about wonders in Civ 7, which is they're kind of a bit toned down from Civ 6, I'd say. What you get out of them immediately in terms of yields and whatnot, not quite so impressive. However, they also serve a bit of a different purpose we'll get into in a moment. For the time being though, let's just slap down a gigantic obelisk. And as for, yes, the situation over to the east, okay. I've got my scout in position who can now see very, very far indeed, and, right. By the looks of it, what's going on here is, oh yeah, Packer Cutie is definitely invading right now. So, okay. Okay. This is interesting, because I've now got troops nearby who can offer some assistance. We can also conveniently, yes, do a bit of training for my commander by just taking out nearby rebels and whatnot. So, just to move in, start attacking them, that's all absolutely fine. Can we get another attack in? We cannot on this occasion, that's fine. But yeah, as my troops that are next to my commander fight, my commander gains experience, and eventually will be able to flipping level up. Okay, situation with the Rome is, I've now gone to eyes on their entire empire, which is Rome up front, then they've expanded backwards to Neapolis. That is his only 2 cities right now, and yeah, he's being picked apart by Pacacuti and also my lovely city-state, because even though me and him aren't at war, he attacked them, they're allowed to attack him back. So what I think I'm going to do, given, yes, he's just put walls around Rome, is back off. Because I'm not in a position to take out walls. I don't have any siege equipment, I don't have anything. So, it's time to, yeah, pack up my troops and mosey on home. What I'm going to do instead, though, is, yeah, because there is a second city-state right here between me and them, I'm going to befriend these guys. And I'm hoping them as buffer states will keep things calm. And speaking of which, right, I was also rushing towards wall technology myself, so if things get nasty, I can now put walls up. Together with the pyramids. So okay, now that's giving me bonus gold of production on rivers. Now that's got to be a good thing to build. Not least as, being Egypt, I just get bonus production towards the pyramids. Super fun thing about the tech tree in Civ 7, by the way, which is, you may notice, some techs have secondary backup techs. So, as a result, if I just really like writing, I could take, like, the writing and mastery course. Basically just meaning the stuff I got through writing, like libraries, they get even a flipping better. Still, with the situation now calmed down a bit, we finally got to Code of Bloody Laws. Which means we get our first merchant and we could start trading, and trading this game is really, really interesting because what you're basically doing when you're trading is getting a copy of local resources of wherever it is you're trading with. So my good friends, Aratim over there, who are keeping the Romans at bay, love these guys, they're doing a great job, yeah, I can trade with them to get hold of their resources. So incense for bonus science and some lovely, I assume that's sugar, so I'm just going to send him off to Aratim to do precisely that. And at the same time, yes, I'm going to start keeping my eye out for other resources we might be able to claim. Because, okay, it's time to talk about, yes, what we're actually trying to do here, which is, the way you progress through the game is a little bit more varied than it used to be. I'm not just trying to say earn era score from any old source in order to get to a particular golden age at the end of this era. Instead, there are multiple different tracks I could be following. Culture, for example, in this era, is basically about building world wonders. Build 7 world wonders, and you can have a cultural golden age going into the next era. Military, meanwhile, is about owning a large number of cities. Which is tricky because there is a bit of a soft cap as to, yes, the number of cities you're allowed. Go over it and you start having serious penalties. Which is why conquered cities count as 2. So, yes, as a result, conquering other cities, that's the way to do it. Science is honestly a bit boring. You just need, yes, codices, which mostly you just get by doing those extra bonus techs I was talking about. Economic, meanwhile, I find by far the most interesting. All you need to do is gather enough resources and slot them into your settlements. So right now we've only got 2. That's not very good at all, so yeah, we should probably go and find some more. And I'll tell you what, there's a decent cluster of resources down around here. So that might be a good spot to expand to. And I think this might also be an excellent opportunity to, yes, start going into the Egyptian civics, having got the basics down. So, okay. How about, yes, a special temple that gets me +4 gold, and also bonus happiness based on adjacent river tiles. Or alternatively, yeah, base +3 culture, but also bonus gold for adjacent deserts. You know what? Let's start with that. That sounds exciting. And there we flipping go. As we tick over into the next turn, my first wonder is down. I can't deny I did kind of prefer it in Civ 6, where you saw like every individual brick be placed rapidly. I don't like the slow step-by-step build quite as much. I prefer the Civ 6 building animations. Also, you absolute bastards, I think someone beat me to building the pyramids. Well, that's very irritating, actually, but okay, that's fine. That just means I won't get distracted building them instead of expanding. This is a good thing in a way. Now I can just get out more cities and whatnot. Oh, and perfect timing. My merchant just made it to my good friends over at Aratum, so now he's there. He could begin working on a trade route. Meaning immediately, a road appears out of nowhere. And because I'm Xerxes, so does a pile of culture and gold. Gold I can use in all sorts of exciting, sexy ways, because, okay, this town here, as we've discussed, because it's a town, there's only so much we can do with it, including, yeah, certain buildings we just can't construct. Like you may notice, the library is not available as an option. Towns just can't support advanced infrastructure. The trade-off for that is, they can do simple things very, very well. So for example, by default they grow faster. And if I wanted to, I could just say, hey, you're a farming town now. Meaning basically, it will stop growing, and instead it will focus all its attention on being as good as it can at farming. It will generate a load of food, and that food will be shipped back to the nearest city. Meaning basically, yes, you could set up communities purely to support bigger cities. And as bigger cities get bigger, and more urban and industrial, you're gonna be needing surrounding towns to support their food needs. This one, however, I'm happy to just, yeah, pay a big old pile of money in order to convert it into a proper city. Because bloody hell, we could do with, yeah, some more science libraries, etc, etc. We are falling behind our rivals at this point. Though we can fix that a bit thanks to, yes, those resources we just picked up from my friends next door. So Incense goes over here, immediately provides some lovely bonus science, and, okay. We can boost the food here to get you growing much, much faster. Oh, and meanwhile, right, it's time to start thinking very carefully about positioning here, which is, I've now unlocked the first of my special buildings that gets me, yeah, gold from desert tiles and wonders. So if I just put that out in the desert over here, that is worth a bloody lot of gold. But I'm gonna want to put that in, yes, the same urban district as this temple, so that they form the unique quarter, the necropolis. So, for that, ideally I need, yeah, adjacent wonders or adjacent rivers. And yeah, either of these spots would get me one adjacent wonder and one adjacent river. So we're gonna put you over here, my friend, for, 8 and 4. Now, that's a lot of money, and once we've got money flooding in, at that point, we'll be able to start catching up in a hurry. Oh, and better, my commander has just picked his first level up while, yes, taking the army northwards to deal with a couple of barbarians. So I'm going to say, yeah, to help him move around easily, let the commander move pretty much freely on land and ignore terrain movement restrictions, so we can pack up the army and move it across the empire super quickly. Oh, and speaking of science that we need to be getting in a hurry, right. So the second city-state is now on my side, and on top of that, okay, because we've already got the science building off that first one, I could make all my science buildings, like my libraries, generate +1 science for every city-state I'm suzerain of, which is already 2, and I've already got 2 libraries in production, so, okay, we're going to take that right now. And there's another city-state down south here. We're going to get you on board too to basically, yes, keep that rolling in the right direction. Okay, sometime later, I should say, by the way, I'm literally restricted as to the amount of footage I'm able to share with you at this point. Like, it was one of the conditions of me getting to play the game this early. So that's why we're going to need to, like, you know, slightly accelerate at this point to make sure we can actually get through the entire age. But, okay, first and foremost, my necropolis is done in both my main city and my secondary city, so 30 gold, 5 culture down south here, and then 11 and 5 up north, so okay, that is a good solid amount of money. We're now making 72 gold a turn. That is nice. Now I will freely admit, we're still a bit behind in some ways. Like, we're doing okay versus the losers of the world, like Augustus and whatnot. yeah, Benjamin Franklin is somewhere. He's Greece, apparently, because America doesn't exist yet. That doesn't exist till the modern era. So he's Greece for now. We're behind him. Packer Cutie is just going cocky bananas. I'm not sure what he's doing, but yeah, he's expanding rapidly towards me, actually. He just put down some towns around here. So, okay. Rome has not gone to war with me. They seem to be struggling a tiny bit, in fact. They've, like, you know, set up some tiny territories up north, but they're really not doing very well in the slightest. So, that's fine. Packer Cutie, me and him are cool, but I'm also terrified of him, by the way. So, yeah, we need to, like, you know, catch up with him. But we're expanding too. Okay, we've got 2 towns right at the frontier. So, yeah, we've got this lovely chappie down here by that beautiful waterfall with a giant pile of gold too. Which is good, because gold is one of those resources you don't assign, it's just an empire-wide resource. So, as long as I've got gold, yeah. The cost of buying buildings, i.e. what every town has to do, is less. So that is really good. The more gold we can get, the better. To be honest, that was so important. Yeah, I pretty much tossed down this town purely to get hold of this gold and these camels. That's it. But we are starting to get, you know, a tiny bit boxed in here. Rome is expanding this way. Yeah, we've got Packer Cutie expanding this way. Greece down there, Benjamin Franklin, he's expanding too. So, okay, we need to lock down some of this territory and maybe some of this up here. Because right now we've only got, yeah, 1 wonder down. We might just get enough, yeah, flipping cities to get like a 1 military point, but that's not much. I want a golden age. Science, we made no progress at all, but I've been ignoring the codices, so that's fine. Economic. I've now gathered enough resources to get to stage 1. Okay, 7 out of 20. Though it's kind of a problem that, yes, so many of the nearby resources happen to be empire-wide. They don't count unless they're slotted in a city. Which means what we need is, yes, more traders in order to steal other people's resources. So here we go, a trader goes into my own flipping vassal. You, sir, make a trade route. That generates, you know, culture and gold for me for free. And that also gets me, yeah, silk. That gets me bonus culture, so we could just pull that in to Wasat. And a bonus wool, getting me, okay, production and happiness. Shove that in there too. Everything goes in the capital. And alright, by doing that, we've just unlocked a new civilization we can become down the line. Because you don't get to just, you know, get your pick of everything for free. You do in the antiquity era. Once you get into, you know, the later game, you've got to evolve in a way that makes sense. So I've just unlocked Ming because I had a huge number of resources plugged into my territories. Part of the issue we've got is, yeah, trade range. For the time being, I can trade with my immediate neighbours and Rome. Not entirely happy with that, to be honest. I feel like that's a little bit close for comfort, actually. But yeah, if I just expand a little bit into this central area, I might be able to trade with the heart of Packer Cutie's empire. And that would be bloody nice. Especially given I could just turn a town into a trade outpost. Meaning, okay, plus a 5 to trade route range. And there is free space for, yes, basically one last town right here at the front. And these days, loyalty pressure doesn't really seem to be a thing, so okay. I feel like that could be a good idea. And you know what? Speaking of which, okay. Expand southwards down over here. We can immediately claim our 3rd gold, and I think this is stacking. Like, we've now got 3 sets of gold, all reducing the cost of purchasing buildings. I mean, this here is definitely costing a lot less than what it used to. Also, hilariously, I think I just saw an alert that, yes, someone just built the pyramids. Suggesting possibly the reason it didn't show up in Wasat was because there wasn't a valid open slot for it, so oh, that's bloody embarrassing. I think this entire time I've just been sitting here as Egypt ignoring the cocking pyramids. Honestly, I feel like my river's already pretty good. Like, you know, 6 food, 3 production, golden culture on a river toll. That's fine.
I count the grains of sand on the beach and measure the sea. I understand the speech of the dumb and hear the voiceless.
And though we may not have got the pyramids and no one else seemed to be interested in building the oracle, so at least we got that. Honestly, it doesn't contribute that much to me, but it is very pretty, so I'm happy to have it in the Empire. Especially as, do not forget, I want to be wonder building as much as I can, because the obelisk and also my necropolis all give me gold when a wonder's completed, so my gold just jumped up to, yes, like a nearly 900, which I can pour straight back into, yes, basically any town that needs a boost. Or indeed converting towns straight into cities, which, yes, I need to do, because I do bloody well need, yes, more in the way of, libraries and whatnot. The tech tree gets really interesting as the age goes on, by the way, because, yeah, you very rapidly see you've got a choice between advancing into new technologies or going back and doing the stage 2s of old stuff you've already done. And in some cases, yeah, the old stuff you've already done, that gets you a codex, which helps with the science victory. So, sometimes, weirdly, with science, you kind of like, lag around behind in the tech tree because you're too busy mopping up the extra advanced course on how to use wheels. Oh, and that would be a good way of sticking it to Rome, wouldn't it? I could build the Colosseum. So, okay. Yields a whole bunch of culture, but also thanks to adjacency, it's going to yield way more than that, in fact. And on top of that, yeah, it'll make my necropolis a very happy place. Oh, slight issue, mind, as we just, try and toss up the Colosseum. So, funny old thing. Yeah, towards the end of an age, a crisis starts. It's a bit random, you don't know precisely what's going to happen. But in general, yeah, there could be issues. But on this occasion, it sounds like, yeah, barbarians are coming. What that functionally means is, yes, you've got to choose which of a series of terrible perks you're going to be taking. So, I'm probably not paying that much to my army, because honestly I've not got that much army. So, okay, barbarian mercenaries, we'll start with that, it's all going to be fine. And just keep an eye out as to, whether anything else bad's going to happen, Like that, for example, I swear you weren't here a minute ago. Okay, you know what? You've got gold, John. How about, yes, just setting up walls around your towns? Probably a good idea. Better and better. Right. We've just got our settler into a good position to, yes, basically try and get as close to Rome and pack a cutie as we can. But this here, this is what flipping money is good for. I could get this town running in no time whatsoever. So, snap down, yeah, a granary to make all of the beautiful food and farms better. And I'm pretty sure we can, yep, immediately help myself to a beautiful plantation here, getting me food and production. And you know what? Just slap walls around it straight away because, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned that we are very, very close to, Rome, etc., etc.
While stands the Colosseum, Rome shall stand. When falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall. And when Rome falls, with it shall fall the world.
Okay, whatever happens next, I want us to remember we built the Colosseum, and it was really nice before the barbarian set it on fire. Oh, but our prayers might just have been answered. While Augustus hates me, he hasn't declared war just yet, and as a result, we could trade with Rome. We could have his sugar, his wine, his silks. We could trade with Lugdunum. That's expanding too. That would get us, some lovely jade, some pearls. Oh yeah, this could be good. It just struck me, I'm seeing a lot of, troops around here. There's troops up north by Lugdunum. There's troops at the front door round here. But Augustus does kinda hate me, so... Okay, just out of interest, pack a cutie. My relationship's not good enough to form an alliance. Oh, that's a concern. Right, pack up the troops and let's get them to the front line, please. We might need to, yes, just scare him off a little bit. And yeah, from inside a city, a single archer could do a lot of good work. Oh, never mind, he's decided he wants to go in anyway, but that's fine. Do remember, we've got ourselves, yes, 2 city-states on my side as a wall between me and him. So this is all gonna be fine. Yep, I understand. You just started attacking me. I get it. Also, for some reason, Benjamin Franklin's involved. I think possibly he was, allied with Augustus. Okay, so it's bloody lucky we already had the troops moving into position, really, isn't it? So, okay, guys, begin separating out over in this direction. We need, yes, some flipping archers, so we've actually got a bit of firepower in this city. I kind of just want to, yeah, bait them forward a bit into archer range, because right now my archers aren't doing anything. Bare minimum, yeah, there is a big river between the Romans and me on this front. They've got to get in a boat to cross it, and they're not going to have fun doing that. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, things are kind of collapsing for, yes, the guys down south. They're not doing so well right now, which could be a problem, so I'm kind of trading with them. Like, my economy needs those guys to be not dead. Bare minimum, though, we might be able to slow them down. So you get to here. Can you still shoot? No, you can't. Dear, I flipping dear. Right, just bring everybody around here. There are, oh, there's so many troops. Our attempt seems to be able to take care of itself. My troops can deal with this nonsense, and we can just keep buying more, of course. Including, you know what? Sure, let's get my own chariots out on the fields. While this has been going on, by the way, the barbarian crisis is also getting worse. Kind of just ignoring that for now, hoping that goes away. As for up north, yeah, single archer is holding well. The legions just can't get over the river without taking a huge casualties. Oh, and even better, Pancacutis decided yes, now he does want an alliance, presumably because, yes, the war's not going so much in Augustus's favour. Oh yeah, he's back at war with Augustus, brilliant. Okay, we're 89% of the way through the era. The centre is holding. It's a cocking mess, but the Romans have been repulsed for now. Up north, however, we might be able to actually, you know, push back in and get something done against the Romans here. Oh, just noticed the barbarians are actually, yeah, really helping me out because, okay, they're right up here, preventing any reinforcements from getting in from Rome. Beautiful. As for the crisis, by the way, bloody hell. Right, I guess we're weaker against independent powers. How many towns do we have that have actually got a specialization? Not many, I don't think. And happiness for every commander level. Honestly, my commanders aren't that good. That's probably okay. Okay, it's taken a lot of time, a lot of dead troops, but we've taken Lugdunum, which I'd like to keep. Purely for the sake of the resources it's squatting on. So we'll be keeping that if we can, though, kind of notice there's also, like, a lot. And I do mean a lot of barbarians nearby, too. Still, we can, like, you know, use Jade to boost the gold income of Wisset. Also, okay, plus up 4-2. Oh, bloody hell, happiness is not good. I need this war to end, by the way. Apparently that was enough to get the next milestone for Silk Roads. Brilliant. Okay, Augustus would accept peace at this point. I am down for it. Seriously, there are so many cocky barbarians. We need to flipping deal with them now. Though I'm gonna be honest, it might be a bit late to save, yes, Bedet down south. There's a lot of cocky barbarians round there, actually. Well, we may as well try. Commander, pack 'em up. Let's flipping get going. Okay, it's going to be bloody close down south, which is, yes, they've broken the walls. Those are gone now. But I can just use money to buy more troops. They've got to kill the unit occupying the town before they can take it. And my troops are cocking arriving, including dispersing the town that you were just in. So, okay. We are making flipping progress here, okay? Get over here. Everybody who can do anything, do something, please. Just start, you know, shooting people, pushing forward. Bare minimum, no more troops are coming from the north. Oh, they cocky pushed in and took it anyway. Do they, like, trying to hold it now? Could I go and take it back? Not 100% sure what happens now, actually. Okay, so, update. Up north. Good news, Lugdunum secure, barbarians dealt with, Romans at peace, though mysteriously, yes, flipping Benjamin Franklin doesn't know when to quit. Down south, I'll admit, situation more severe, which is there's now nothing left but the archers, all the cavalry and infantry's dead, and I'm pretty sure they're about to, burn down Baydut. Honestly, that's okay, we were, like, over city limit anyway, we didn't need the city, it's fine. Operation Secure More Resources isn't going well either, by the way. Though mysteriously, yes, thanks to my little late science burst here. And seriously, we are catching up with even Benjamin Franklin, though not Pancacuti. I don't know what he's doing, but he's already halfway to his space program. we might, just might, be able to get, a golden science age. But I need more places to display the stuff. But if I could just get to mathematics and, Russian Academy, we might be able to do this. I mean, I could also just, create more libraries by promoting more cities. The issue being, yes, right now you basically can't do anything and you're a town anyway by the looks of it. My cities already all have libraries, and promoting towns to cities is bloody expensive. And gosh darn it, it's too late. The Scourge has entered the world yet turned, so okay, that was barbarian invasion, and yeah, we straight up lost a city to that. Dear oh flippin' dear. And there we flipping go. Era 1 is over. And that's a much bigger deal here than it was back in Civ 6. Bare minimum, yeah. We still got a few points here and there. No Golden Age, but some points across the board. And this is where things get a bit sexy, because going forward, we would keep playing as Xerxes, but we wouldn't be playing as Egypt anymore. Egypt's done, got a bit broken by those barbarians, time to move on to something new. And plenty of them we simply didn't unlock because we didn't do the right things. So while there's all sorts of ways I could go in this game, probably I would go for Songhai. Because 1, there's still a focus on trade and the economy, but 2, it also lets me build some unique bits and pieces that sync up nicely with my deserts and rivers. And here we go, the world is the same, but also very, very different, which is, all those barbarians, they're gone, that's nice, as in fact is every single flipping city-state. They're unique to each era, so they've naffed off, and new ones will be spawning in to replace them. And as for my cities, they remain as they are for now, but that will be changing over time. In particular, yeah, I can't build any more of the things I previously put together. If I miss something from the ancient era, that's gone now. Technology, units, buildings, can't build them anymore. And as a result, some things just start falling behind a bit. Like, say, for example, now we're not Egypt anymore. Yeah, the fishing boats are fine, but they're not what they used to be. However, some things are like, just always good. The necropolis is just great. That's continuing to generate giant piles of money. The library, however, that's not really contributing as much as it used to. You may notice my science has dropped a bit already. Which means as time goes by, we might need to, replace some of those buildings with new ones. So it sure is bloody lucky we've got a brand new tech tree full of new buildings, new wonders, new everything. And once again, a brand new Songhai civic tree, so we've got our own unique bits and pieces too, including flipping a mastery on this occasion. But what we did in the past is not entirely lost, however, which is I can spend those points I earned on various upgrades. So, attribute points are just, upgrades for my leader that apply to the entire empire, so sure, I'll take an expansionist attribute point, honestly not much else I can do with a single point of military. With my 2 points of economic though, right, I can give myself a big boost in terms of my income because, yeah, for every trade route in antiquity, I just get to have money going forward. So, plus 25, that's not bad. And science, plus 9, you know what, that really does help offset all of those codices we're not really benefiting from anymore. And also for free, I can move my capital given, yes, in the exploration age, obviously we're heading out to sea. A landlocked capital might not really be the most useful thing in the world. And if I want to, yeah, I can actively try and play tall with city-states, reducing my own city limit, but making it much easier to do diplomatic actions that win me vassals, so, interesting, but I feel like possibly my empire, might be a bit big for that, actually. I'll just take, probably a few more points. That's probably for the better. So there we go. That's what I get going into the new era. And had I got anything to the end of its track, I would have got a Golden Age bonus too. And yeah, the leader attribute trees, by the way, are really, really cocking long. And you maintain them through the entire game across every single era. So, yeah, 10% towards wonders, that would have been bloody useful back in time. Gold for every imported resource, that would have been good for me too. And then we can get settlers out faster, etc, etc, just, yeah. There's a lot you could do to really personalize your empire to make it suit what you want it to be doing. So there you go, that's a little introduction to Civilization 7 there, and there's a lot I really like here. Like, you know, the fact that you can blend a leader of your choosing with basically any 3 civs in a row, and then promote that leader in all sorts of different ways depending on how you upgrade their attribute tree. And I didn't even mention the memento system, by the way. I skipped this at the start, but yes, you can also, like, you know, give mementos to your leaders to just ever so slightly personalize them. And some of them are really interesting trade-offs, like, say, an increased settlement limit, but it costs more to convert to a city in terms of gold, so yeah, basically, there's a lot of replayability here for functionally infinite combinations of civs, leaders, mementos, progress through attributes, etc, etc. Bloody hell, there's a lot to get your teeth into. But I suspect, yes, that's probably all I can show you just for the minute, because as I say, Francis will break my legs if I show you a little bit too much, so we're going to call it there, but don't you flipping worry. When I'm allowed to, we will be seeing more of this. This is good, this is interesting, this is a really cool remix of the formula, so for the time being I will say, bloody nice, and we will be seeing it again just as soon as I'm able, so hopefully you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been the delightful Civilization 7. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
You know, I really hope we've agreed open borders with Japan, by the way, otherwise they have basically just invaded. I may have picked the wrong fight over... Yep. And my cities, of course, have got even more flipping high-tech, though mysteriously still completely dependent on, you know, an aqueduct. Now, I'm not saying your entire army is mostly already dead, but it kind of actually is.